Welcome back to Walsall Fan TV for the preview of Walsall at home to Fleetwood, the next challenge to face Walsall. And to talk Fleetwood, we have Jack. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Obviously, cock a hoop with the start of the season we've had. Just hoping we can keep it going. Fleetwood been doing okay too, aren't they? They got a game in hand. I think that was the Wimbledon match was postponed, wasn't it?
No, Salford for international. We luckily played Wimbledon on the 31st before, obviously, the pitch. But yeah, a game in hand over Sun Club. So it's a bit weird to see how we started with playing a game less than everyone.
Well, the thing is, we give Fleetwood another game and another 3 points, and that would put you fifth. So we had a fan chat yesterday, and one of the things that was up for discussion was, have we really played anybody any quality in League Two this season? Colchester, arguably, yes, because they were the top scorers in the division. And miraculously, after the very poor first 30 minutes, we didn't concede any shots on target in the whole of the game. So that was a bit good. As far as teams we've played to test us, we have come up against League One opposition. Birmingham City, Exeter, Huddersfield. We've sort of overcome those. Leicester from the Premier League. They only beat us on penalties. So we have had some tests. But as far as the League Two, Fleetwood are quite a passing team, aren't they? And we did come unstuck against MK for a wealth of reasons. But are Fleetwood going to pass it round us and beat the press? What do you think?
It's going to be a weird one because, in my eyes, both teams don't really dominate possession. I think in possession stats, you're 21st in the league and we're 19th. There's only about 1% in it. So both teams in the 40s for possession. And yeah, it's going to be a weird one because Charlie Adams said, we don't really want to play out from the back, want to get it into the striker's feet quickly. And we have been doing, but at times, sometimes we need to slow the game down and maybe play into the 6 of Elliot Bonds and work from there. And going back to what you said about you've not played on with quality, it is probably true. But then, like you say, you've had the cup games against higher opposition where obviously you've had a test against yourself. And I think it's also refreshing, obviously, keeping Colchester to not even having a shot on target. Obviously, they've, I think, had the most shot on targets in the game, especially leading up to that. I think it was 6.4 per game they were averaging. So very good to keep them to no shot on target, especially with Tobbard and Taylor coming off a bunch of goal contributions in the past 2 matches there. But I think it's the way that you beat teams. Also, Swindon away 4-0. They've got some good players, I think, obviously haven't gelled so far this season. Morecambe, you didn't let them score, and now they are scoring. And I think Morecambe are going to be
I think we got Morecambe at a good time, I think. They were still sort of all at sea. I think they're starting to get together a bit, Morecambe. I think they're still going to struggle for the season. But, I think they're improving, aren't they? They're improving.
Yeah, and it's just that they got momentum now. And then, obviously, you had Cheltenham. I weren't really impressed with Cheltenham when I saw him Saturday. And then you've had Salford haven't started the best either. So you've had, obviously, I think, favourable opponents, but it's obviously good to get the momentum and see how good you are when you go against a good side like Port Vale, Notts County, Gillingham, teams like that. And you'll be
away to Chesterfield. We're away to Chesterfield on Saturday. That's going to be another big test.
Especially when they've got one of probably the best front forwards in the league with swapping Will Grigg, who's injured, for Paddy Madden. I mean, that's not a very...
Will Grigg? Oh, that's good. He always scores against us. Because, of course, he used to play for Walsall, Will Grigg.
Yeah,
so but Paddy Madden, he knows where the goal is, doesn't he? He's...
Yeah, it's not a bad backup at all. And then you've got James Berry, who's made the step up from National League back to the EFL. Look really easy, to be honest. And you've got Dobra behind him. And yeah, Chesterfield, they've got players that should be in around the top 7 because Paul Cook is a great gaffer, especially for this level.
Well, hopefully for Walsall, we'll get another win at home to sort of give us that bit of a buffer when we're heading to Chesterfield, go with an extra bit of confidence. Looking at Fleetwood, 2-0 win away to Cheltenham, impressive. Morecambe 2-2, a little bit disappointing, only getting a point at home, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
3-2 win at Carlisle was a good one. Carlisle, they were tipped to do really well. Carlisle, they've sort of all at sea, aren't they? What do you think of Carlisle?
Yeah, it's obviously they've got ambitious owners now, American owners. The recruitment was all right. I think no one really stepped off the page. Sort of only Charlie Wyke and Jamie Jones, who they signed, I think both from Wigan. And yeah, obviously they've got Mike Williamson now. It's going to be a different brand of football to what Simpson had previously to Carlisle. And I don't think they'll get top 7, especially with parting ways with Simpson, because now you're relying on a new brand of football. Williamson's got another manager. Williamson's got another manager's squad. Obviously, he hasn't had a transfer window, and he's probably got not the right profiles to fit his style of football. So I think with the appointment of Williamson, it'll be to get the players gelling this season, and have a couple of transfer windows and go for it next season.
Why did they let Simpson go then, you reckon?
I think it was amazing how they kept him from the whole of last season, to be honest. I think only 7 wins he got, and it just weren't a good season for Carlisle. And I think Simpson, because of his stature, because he played there, I think he's deemed as sort of a club legend there. And I think it either goes one or two ways there, because when it fails, it's not a nice ending, really. And I think the Pittett family, they wanted a fresh face in, and they wanted probably a new style of football to fit their ambitions and more Simpson's direct football and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes a manager is there too long. And maybe Simpson, with the defeats, I suppose, had been ingrained, isn't it? And then because it transferred and they hadn't made a good start to League Two, then I suppose perhaps that is the time to make a change. Talking Fleetwood, just going back a couple of games, 0-0 with Gillingham. What do you make of Gillingham?
We were the better side against Gillingham, to be honest. And I think at that time they had Swansea away in the cup, they had Morecambe away in the league, then they had Fleetwood. So it was a lot of travelling from Kent for them. And yeah, they're a well-drilled side. They'll be resolute. They'll be efficient at both ends of the pitch. Although against Fleetwood, they didn't have anything really clear-cut. I think they had one where they pounced off our mistake for playing out from the back. So they got a good manager. I don't think I was overly impressed when they played us, but obviously, like I said, the travel factor probably comes into there. And they've kicked on now. They've beat good opponents like Chesterfield. They beat Barrow on Saturday. They couldn't quite beat Doncaster, but they're going to be up there, Gillingham, and I'm probably glad that we played them when we did.
Well, yeah, happy to get that one. I can't believe that they played 8 games and only conceded 2 goals, which Walsall have only conceded 4. But I mean, 2 goals conceded in 8 games is remarkable, isn't he?
Yeah, Mark Bonner, he has a structure that he'll stick to for all season. He won't change from the 4-2-3-1. And his Cambridge side, they wanted to be defensively resolute, but also a really good threat going forward. They won't have much of the ball, but when they do have the ball, they'll be like Fleetwood. They want to get it into the striker's feet quickly, and they want to create a load of chances. And fair play to Gillingham, because they're going to be a really hard team to beat. And when teams have more of the ball, they'll be really vulnerable for the counter-attack that Gillingham can be a really threat of.
Oh, on the counter, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to watch that then when we play them. Coming to Fleetwood, Charlie Adam, happy with him? Yeah,
the thing is with Fleetwood, I think the Morecambe game, it was on Charlie, to be honest. I said it was an inexperienced manager coming up against an experienced manager in Derek Adam, and Derek Adams makes 4 really good subs at half time. Charlie Adam makes 2 really bad subs around the 60th minute mark. And we shouldn't have drew that game against Morecambe. And Charlie Adam made the wrong subs at the wrong time, really. Brought Coughlin off our centre forward and then Mayer off who was running the game. And you're thinking then you're just asking for Morecambe to put the pressure on you and pull goals back. And yeah, he's a young manager. He's got a young squad, so it will take time to get obviously the way we want to play across to the players, and they'll be improving each day on the training ground and all that sort of stuff. And he's got a young coaching staff with him too, Ross Wallace, who used to play for Fleetwood, I think 5 years ago. So I think he retired at the same time as Charlie Adam. And yeah, I'm impressed with what I've seen, to be honest. I can't be too critical, but I think that Morecambe game really annoyed a lot of Fleetwood fans, but it was a great reaction away at Cheltenham. We went 2-0 up again and we got a clean sheet.
That's good. It was impressive, the EFL victory over West Bromwich Albion. That was I bet you enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think them cup games could have took a lot out of us, especially when we got our first loss of the season against Wimbledon. We played West Brom, where we needed to defend for 60 minutes when we went 2-1 up, because simply just had to set the pressure up and defend the box. And really the same with Rotherham, to be honest. When they were going on the front foot, then we had Wimbledon and we lost 1-0, and you could tell that it took a lot out of the players. But yeah, the cup run was good. We took Stoke to penalties. Less said about the penalties, the better, only scoring 1 out of 5.
So we did worse against Leicester, lost 3-0 on penalties.
Yeah, but no, it was good to have a bit of a cup run and seeing us beat oppositions that are obviously in higher divisions, like obviously you did with Walsall, and obviously you took Leicester to pens.
Yeah, that was good. As far as Fleetwood players, there's 2 players I want to talk about, 2 very contrasting. Matty Virtue and Ronan Coughlin. Matty Virtue, 27, midfield dynamo, former youth from Liverpool, 5 years at Blackpool, last year at Lincoln. So vast experience, largely League One. He's quality man for you, isn't he?
Yeah, and the thing is that Virtue isn't an nailed-on starter, to be honest. And he said in his interview that sometimes he has been frustrated already this season, and Charlie Adam knows that because maybe he hasn't got the game time he wanted. But I think with Virtue, he's either a 1 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. There's not really an in-between with him, to be honest. Against Rotherham, he ran the show in midfield. He got an assist from when he pulled out wide onto the byline. And then we went to Wimbledon. He got subbed off at half time because he weren't up to scratch. And then he gets a brace against Cheltenham after not being great in sort of the 6th role against Carlisle. So it seems like if he has a bad performance, he really wants to bounce back and show what qualities he had, because he's a great box-to-box player. He's a great athlete. He's got really good fitness levels. And I think that's what we need, because we've got 2 technical players in Danny Mayer and Mark Helm, but then we have a sort of player in Matty Virtue that can just run constantly for 90 minutes and cause teams problems, because it seems like he won't ever tire, and he'll get in really good positions. And he did for the Cheltenham game. It was Graydon and Coughlin in behind. Graydon squared to Coughlin. Virtue didn't need to go at the edge of the box and give them support, because he could have trusted the 2 centre forwards, but he wanted to be there in with the action. And then with his second goal, he's on the half turn, the edge of the box, and then he scores a goal from there. So he picks himself up in really nice positions. He'll happily move off the ball to help others. And yeah, he's a really good player to have, especially when he's not a nailed-on starter, because you know that when he's on his A game, you can get some real quality.
Yeah, and I suppose his confidence will be up after the 2 goals against Cheltenham, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
He sounds very similar in some respects to Jamie Jellis. Jamie Jellis is full of energy, playing in the number 8. He just runs and runs and runs. And of course, we said before, or you said just before we came live, you sort of checked on the Walsall's last highlights. That pass from Taylor Allen, and then the bring down from Jamie Jellis and then to slot it home. That was we're going to rename him Jamie Bergkamp, I think.
Yeah, I've heard that off a Walsall fan. I think on Sunday he told me to have a look at the goal, and he said Bergkamp, thinking, all right, what's this goal going to be like? And I'm seeing Taylor Allen have a 70-yard pass over to Joe, so I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's a tiny little goal.
And then I think, as you said as well, for the second goal, 30 passes. It was like watching Arsenal a bit, really, sort of patient build up, sort of passing it around. And then Connor Barrett, he's been very impressive for us as well. Cuts inside his man, cuts outside the next man, and then pulls it back for super sub Uncle Albert to flick it home for the second.
It's not bad when you have Uncle Albert coming off the bench, for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you know what quality he can bring. But going back to Connor Barrett, I saw him make that run about 3 times. On the first 20 minutes, Ed Woods on the left-hand side had the pace advantage a lot of Connor Barrett, but then when he got into the groove of the game, I think he defended Ed Woods really well. Obviously, the first 20 minutes, he was a bit shaky, but then, especially when he got the confidence just going forward, he is very quick. I didn't expect it to be that quick, to be honest, and he was really confident knocking it around 2 or 3 players, obviously, like he did for that goal for Uncle Albert. He didn't get the assist for that one, though, which I'm surprised about. Is it because it went off a Colchester player before it got to Albert?
No, I thought he'd have the assist. They've given it to somebody else, have they?
They didn't give it as an assist, so I'm presuming it went off the Colchester defender that Albert took it off or something. But anyway, it was great work on the right-hand side by Barrett. And again, it was, like you say, great passive moves. And it's great to see when, obviously, you don't have as much as a ball, but when you do have the ball, you can take the sting out of the game and work it. And I think having Stirk in the midfield helps a lot because he can just play the ball on the left, on the right. He did that numerous of times against Colchester, and again on the left-hand side you have Taylor Allen overlapping or staying more in field, and you have Lakin and Jellish roaming. Then you've got Earing coming off the bench to score 2. So I think it's a system that complements each player really well.
Yeah, Ryan Stirk, I'm so impressed with how calm he is on the ball. Particularly against Leicester. Obviously the quality around him, and it just looked so comfortable on the ball. It's sort of a great quality. And of course we had Brandon Comley, who kept him out the side last season for some really good performances. He's ready to come back. So last 15 minutes, if he's tiring, we've got Brandon Comley. So we've got a much better squad this season. It's funny what you're saying about Virtue. Either a 1 or a 9. It was a bit like that with Isaac Hutchinson for us. When he was on it, he was brilliant, but then there were some games where he just wasn't in it, wasn't on it at all. The other player I want to talk about, Ronan Coughlin, 33 in 29 for Waterford in the League of Ireland First Division. Now that is down a few levels, but still an excellent return. Any striker that's knocking that kind of goals in, doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to take notice, haven't you? Have you been impressed with him so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps with the Irish partnership up front with Ryan Graydon and Coughlin. Obviously, Coughlin comes from Waterford, our sister club, and then I think Graydon came from Derry, but still recruiting in the Irish market. And I put a tweet out. It can be really hit and miss, either finding players that just aren't good enough for the English game yet, or you're finding players that are ready. And Coughlin, I was speaking to someone I went with to Cheltenham, and it seems like every shot he has, he always finds a target. And with that sort of striker, you can't really have a fault with him because obviously I think when maybe you don't win, you're thinking, maybe he could be a bit more clinical there. But when he's hitting the target every time, you sort of know what you're getting with him. And he's not sort of the quickest, especially when you've got Ryan Graydon sort of running the channels, getting in behind. And he's really electric. And I think that's why the partnership's doing so well. Because
Ryan Graydon is really quick, yeah?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think if you play either a high line or
What number does he play, Ryan Graydon?
He's a centre forward wearing the number 7. Both of Coughlin and Graydon got 12 goal contributions so far this season between them both.
Blooming Nick. There's the players to stop then.
Yeah, definitely. And they both complement each other really well. Coughlin's got sort of the footwork to maybe beat past a few players and he'll always hit the target. Then Graydon's sort of one that can drop deep. He can run the channels. He can, link the play really well. And then when you've got two centre forwards that have got different profiles but gel so well, it's really encouraging to see. And especially last season when we had a system where I think we had centre forwards that they were all too disliked, really. And obviously, I said that it's good that we have two different profiles in Graydon and Coughlin, but it felt like last season where there's too many different profiles, and we had a front three, and now we've gone to a front two. And Graydon last season, in all honesty, weren't the best, but I think he's had one-on-one finishing, some like individual sessions through the summer, and I think that's helped him really well. Yeah. And it's just good to see a partnership linking off each other so well. And every time we go forward, you know that something's going to happen, and they're both going to be on the front foot and cause problems.
Sounds like Fleetwood are going to be up there. What would be a good finish for you think, this season?
I'm still going for mid-table because we're juggling a small squad. We've got 2 centre-halves out for the season, so we've only got 4 centre-halves to really juggle with. And I don't know if we're going in the free agent market or not, because I've seen a few players that could make the step to Fleetwood and would still be a solid addition. But yeah, I think with the small squad that Charlie Adams got, if we have already got 2 centre-halves out for the season and we've not even got in October yet, will we get some more injuries, and when we'll have to rely on youth or the January window to get someone in on loan? So, yeah, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself yet because it's a young squad, it's a young manager. We'll make mistakes like we did against Morecambe, but it's just about bouncing back from them mistakes, cutting them out, and really progressing forward. And we're just going to take it game by game, see what happens. And all I'm happy with is that the players are fighting for the badge. We're scoring goals, but also at times we can be really, really good defensively.
Yeah, I suppose after last season, it's one of those. It's that consolidation, isn't it? It's either a bounce right back or a consolidate. Because dropping down a division, it's easy to sort of drop all the way through, isn't it? And
yeah, definitely. Because we saw it with Forest Green last season.
Yeah, not having a lot of money and that sort of stuff is one you have to be careful of. With how well Coughlin's started, he's perhaps a risk, isn't he? Because he's out of contract at the end of the season.
Also, there's an injury side to Coughlin where I think he's already picked up a little bit of an injury this season, but obviously he bounced back, I think, quicker than we thought, and maybe we did rush him back too soon. And last season he picked up an injury, so it's just obviously monitoring, his contract, but as well as his fitness. And he's only playing sort of 60 minutes now, 70 minutes, so we're not really getting a full 90 minutes out of him, but it's just the level of quality that he can produce, even if he don't play the full 90, and he's a constant threat.
Okay. Prediction?
I don't want to say it, but I think you'll beat us 2-1.
2-1. I've been saying 2-1 a lot, I think. I am nervous that we might get our first draw of the season on Tuesday night, because we've had a very good run. But if we could sneak this one and get another win on the board, that would sort of really solidify us in that top 3 kind of zone. Ahead of a very tough game at Chesterfield.
I'd definitely also take a point, because then now we're sort of averaging 4 points every 2 games. With Morecambe, we got a point. Cheltenham, we got a win. I'd take a point tomorrow night, and then also I'd hope that we beat Bromley at home, and then after that, I think the Colchester game's postponed, but we've got Port Vale away, and then we'll have the Salford match rearranged. That sort of hard game at Vale Park, and then we should beat Salford at home. So yeah, it's just looking at that where you're wanting 4 points every 2 games and really hitting the safety mark as soon as possible, and then just build from there and see where you are coming to the business end of the season.
That's it. It's sort of being it to win it and that sort of stuff. Right then, okay, Jack, that's been brilliant. Great to have a sort of a chat around the joys of League Two, and hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. Obviously, I think Walsall, or I'm hoping Walsall are going to sort of maintain that undefeated, that winning run.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to predict because, like we said, 2 teams that haven't had much of the ball and maybe might need to tweak a little bit in 2 front lines going head to head, 2 teams that can defend well. So it is going to be a good game, to be honest. And I am excited to watch you guys again after watching the game against Colchester back. And, you've got some threats all over the pitch and we'll really need to be wary, especially from wide areas.
Yeah, I think Jamil Matt, I think he'll probably be rested on Tuesday because Saturday, Tuesday we've been going for the last 3-4 weeks. He needs a break. I think he's not in a position where he's going to be playing regular Saturday, Tuesdays. So I think Dodoma might get a start alongside the young and very impressive Nathan Lowe. He's definitely one to watch out for. But enjoy the game. Good luck for the season, and we'll speak again. Nice one.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, matey. Thanks, Jack. For joining.